Brothers, we live in a world where a lot of intelligent brothers feel like they have to dumb themselves down when they're around people that they can sense have a sense of insecurity about themselves just based off of the energy that permits when it comes to you having that intelligence and you being astute and you being so secure with yourself that it kind of throws someone else it kind of throws someone else off. And for the most part, it's like you got to stand on your toes, on your P's and Q's, because certain people, they envy and they're very envious of a person who's secure with themselves. Never underestimate the envy of someone who's, insecure about the next man's security, because when you have an energy that you can sense someone else is feeling, but they don't really understand that they're feeling your energy because it's all subconscious. You can tell and you can sense certain responses and certain mannerisms and certain, you know, vibrations just based off of how someone is, feeling you. You feel what I'm saying? I get around this all the time. I encounter this all the time when I'm around a lot of brothers where they may feel like they have to be macho around me because I'm tall and, I'm a built guy, and they look at me like, oh, this dude, he think he, hard, or he's kind of intimidating. They, I can sense an intimidating factor, but for the most part, it's kind of hand in hand with the physical, but for the most part, it's mental. You can tell that just me walking with a sense of security for myself and not really feeling like I have to fit in with anybody, because for the most part, I'm a lonesome. I walk alone. I don't walk with a crowd or nothing like that unless I'm with my lady or something like that. But for the most part, I'm walking by myself. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's all about understanding energy and all about understanding what's around you. It's better to be by yourself than with a crowd full of fucking idiots. The bigger the crowd, the dumber the crowd, as a lot of people would say, because that's very, very apropos. It's all about understanding security within yourself and knowing what's right for you and what you stand on and what you walking with. You feel what I'm saying? And that's me. And I can see that a lot of people sense the security within me. And some people, they admire it or they just acknowledge it, and not even just acknowledge it, verbally, but just they understand, it's a respect thing. But some people, you can tell that it's just an intimidation thing to the point where they got to feel like they're macho, or to the point where they're insecure. So you just, never shortchange yourself just to, feel like you have to based off of someone else's insecurity. You feel what I'm saying? And sometimes I may fall for that when it comes to just me kind of shortchanging myself and dumbing myself down. And, now I'm not like that, but I was like that when it came to just me growing with my intelligence and things of that nature. But the reason why I have this image here is because, on Monday, the Supreme Court is trying to take up this new case, on the Second Amendment when it comes to the right to bear arms. And we know that they're trying to basically eradicate it, because prophecy tells us that, you know, these people, they're going to come, these militaristic groups, and they're going to instill martial law to the point where we're not going to have any protection when it comes to weaponry and things of that nature. I'm not saying we as a whole, I'm just saying in regards to the masses and things of that nature, because we know what's coming. It's just certain inklings and tinklings, and just, incrementally, they're going to start to really, like, crack down on these laws. But on Monday, I'm hearing that, the Supreme Court is trying to take up another case, and they're going to, you know, I guess ratify it. Not necessarily ratify it, excuse me, that's the wrong word, but kind of like refine it or revise it or whatever. But it's just something to look at. And, this image here is very powerful. This image actually was taken by a so-called black man. I believe his name was Hogan Charles or something like that. Don Hogan Charles, I believe. And it was in 1964 when this photograph was taken. You know what I mean? I believe this was like a year before he actually passed, Malcolm X. But Malcolm X, man, he was a very, very brave man, a man that you should admire, but not admire to the point where, you idolize him, because you shouldn't idolize anyone. You should always understand the nuances when it comes to these people, because he wasn't all, militant and tough and rough. He was brave, but at the same time, there was dirt on him as well. But just highlighting the fact that this brother was fearless, very, very intelligent. He was intimidated to a lot of people because of his knowledge, his gifts, and his willingness to stand up for what he believed in. He wasn't no fucking pawn. He wasn't no conformer. I mean, he was a pawn for, Nation of Islam, but he started to understand what that was about and he started to combat it. But that resulted in other things that, you know, basically resulted in his death. But just going into the understanding of Malcolm X and how fearless he was, and he didn't take no bullshit. And in these last days, a lot of us, we have to be fearless. We have to be fearless. And, we should try to work on getting our gun license and things of that nature. But I definitely wanted to just highlight this image here because it's definitely legendary and iconic. So thank y'all and God bless. Peace.